Over the moors by the sea is Robin Hood's Bay and some more fantastic voices. I couldn't leave this part of England without visiting Martin Carthy and his wife Norma Waterson, both legends in their own right.
Sleep on, beloved.
Norma's career began at home when she formed a group with her brother, sister and cousin. By the end of the 60s, the Watersons were one of Britain's most influential vocal groups.
We love thee well, but
Martin, her husband, joined forces with Norma around this time. He also has his own successful solo career, having influenced the likes of Paul Simon and Bob Dylan on the way. Unlike my children, despite my efforts, Liza has followed in her parents' footsteps.
until made beautiful.
Martin, Norma and Liza are singing a 16th century hymn.
Thou in the likeness of thy Lord shall shine.
Since the 60s, Martin and Norma have reinvented and revived England's traditional music, bringing it back, if you like, to the folk. It's not surprising some of this has rubbed off on Liza.
Good night, good night, good night.
At what stage did you realise that you were going to become a performer yourself?
When my mum said, "Do you want to come to Canada?" Do you want to come to Canada and play in front of 8,000 people and
No,
give you loads of money for it?
25,000.
How old were you then?
13.
Right.
Yeah, well, I just fell into it. He reckons something else. Go on.
What's your story then?
I just remember we all went to the Fylde Festival in Fleetwood in Lancashire, and she was 6. She said, "I'm coming on stage." I said, "Okay, well you come and stand next to me, and every time you know one of the songs, just pull me like that, and I'll lift you up, and you sit on my hip and you can sing." She said, "All right." And Norma announced the first song, and I thought, so she sang the first. Did you enjoy that? Yes, thank you, Daddy. Well, the second song announced it. She just knew everything, so finally she sat on my hip.
I prefer his version.
Liza probably hates being tagged as the future of British folk music, but she probably is, and as such does gigs all around the country. She has 2 successful solo albums behind her and very strong family roots.
All parents, I think, have. I mean, as a dad myself with 2 daughters, although I love them very much, there are things that they do that make me, piss me off a lot. Yeah. Really, What does she do that makes you?
Shall I leave the room?
No, I mean musically. I don't mean like her personal habits.
Musically, nothing.
Nothing at all. Really.
Whatever she does is fine.
Yeah.
What she's, she can do what she likes, really. I was brought up by my gran, who absolutely, she had the most Catholic taste in music ever. We were never ever told you can't listen to that ever.
No.
So we just learned, that everything was good. First I came to Caledonia, and I got loaded at number.
In the days of the Watersons, Norma's heartfelt singing inspired a whole generation of singers, including, of course, her husband Martin.
We had a daughter, could make good tea.
One of the reasons I used to love watching the Watersons and going listening to the Watersons was because you were actually watching people who, when they were singing, were on fire. And when something that isn't on fire, and an awful lot of what passes for
folk
music, let alone folk music,
yes,
folk music has to be. It's just, it's just people
Just
mouthing.
literally.
It's mouthing. Yeah.
One of the things that really perplexes me is that people will sit and they will listen to Irish and Scottish folk music and say, oh, this is good, this is fine, it's part of that nation's identity. England has just as much very, very good traditional music. I'm not talking about folk music, I mean our traditional culture, our music. And a lot of it is still alive. You know, it never needed reviving. It was still going on.
Yeah.
And yet you talk to people about Englishness, about this English thing, and they will laugh.
Yeah, but it's also it has a sort of faintly sinister overtones in some people, because it's kind of acceptable to, if you're Welsh, to be kind of proud of being Welsh and to want to get involved in Welsh cultural things. Yeah. Ditto Scottish or Irish. But English, it's seen as almost kind of slightly racist.
Before the British Empire did anything to any of those people, they practised on their own culture.
Practiced on the English.
They practised on the English.
That's a good point. Yeah.
They did. Yeah. We must be one of the only nations that need a licence to sing and dance.
I've never seen such a place for prohibitions as England is.
Yeah.
You go anywhere, you go any public place. There's a list of things in the outside which you mustn't do. We went into a pub when it was at the beginning of the weekend. I haven't got it with me, and it said something like, "No shared meals." It said, the sharing of meals is prohibited, therefore, rather strange. And it said, knives, cutlery and plates will not be issued. And you think, what kind of thing can have happened to the landlord in his life that he disapproves of? He'd rather have no customers than have people coming in and say, do you want to try mine? And does he come rushing out, oh, hold on a second,
The arrogance and cruelty of the empire builders may have made a lot of people feel uncomfortable about being English, but these three have made me feel better about it, for a while at least.
Until we know as we have known. Good night. Good night. Good